Welcome to the point that I knew that this was going to be my game. Got a nice little triple, and of all the things I could pick, even more knights. But let's go back to the beginning. So, welcome to Battlegrounds. It's a free-to-play, mostly. You get two choices because I haven't paid the pass. Go for Nguyen. If you don't know Master Nguyen, he basically gives you a choice between two other hero powers every single turn. Comes up for some really fun possibilities.
Commence the party!
Okay, first choice, first turn. I'm gonna go for Set the Light here. It lets you buy something for one less, and it gives it the stats 2 and 2. I picked the taunt because it is one of the better starting minions. It also gives it a nice little stat boost. And I'm looking for triples, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and refresh here too. Boom, found my pair. Gonna go ahead and freeze to make sure I can buy that for next turn.
Are you prepared for the trials ahead?
It's actually a really perfect setup because my 2-2 is now going to be able to survive both those hits, and the Reborn minion is going to stay on board to give that damage. Okay, second choice here. I'm going to go with Imprison. Imprison's going to give me a creature in 2 turns, or 3 turns I believe, but only 1 cost. So that's actually going to go perfect with my 4 mana, or my 4 gold. Alright, I'm going to be able to take these 2 out, and once again the Reborn is going to survive, so that way I win the turn and deal damage, and you don't have to take anything, which is always a good thing. Okay, coming to the next turn, see another Elemental on the board. I'm going to go ahead and take the Alteration. I don't want that middle dragon there, so it'll be a good one to try and look for any possible another buy. Hopefully looking for triples, obviously. That's going to help us get a 6 a little bit later on and earlier in the game. The earlier you get 6 drops in this with the Undead, the better you're going to do overall. So I'm going to go ahead and put down this Elemental, put down the other Dragon, and this was actually a little bit of a mistake because, as you'll see in this next combat, that poor Dragon just doesn't get targeted since I have a Reborn taunt on the field. But I mean, this Dragon did. That takes out one of my Elementals there. I take out his other minion. That poor little dragon didn't get any attacks, so no buffed attack. Womp womp. Alright, next turn, next choice. Once again, another Elemental. I actually went for the enhancement here over the map, and it does pay off in the end. So I'll go ahead and do my first refresh. That Undead minion gets Reborn, which is really good actually, because it's going to go ahead and get an attack boost every time one of my creatures dies, but because it's not an Avenge, that attack boost is going to show up on the minion that comes from the Reborn as well.
Karazhan was actually built by my mother, Nguyen.
So as you're about to see here, my minion will die. But because it died, it's not going to have 8 attacks because 8 of my minions, or I should say 7 of my minions, died. So I was able to take out a minion that had more health, which is great. Okay, next choice. I get another Elemental in the shop, which is great. I also get that pair. I'm going to go for Reborn Rights. That way I can get something Reborn. Just gives me extra little something. And because of my previous hero power, when that shop refreshed, this Undead minion had Taunt, which is great. That's going to be one more minion that is going to work for my overall build. I'm going to give it the Reborn. So now I'll have 2 of those minions that are going to have that attack stacking up, and then they're going to show up once the Reborn minion joins the board. Okay, time for another choice. Beginning of turn. I'm going to go for the Sneed's Replicator here, which is going to be a Death Rattle, summon a random minion from a Tavern tier. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I took the attack. My bad. But the really important thing is I found another triple, which is the Undead Gnolls over here. That's going to be really good. This is the point where I need to start getting up my Tavern tier. I need to get to Tavern tier 5, so that way once I do those triples, I'm going to be able to pick 6 tier minions from the from my rewards, from my discoveries.
It seems your plans are falling into place.
So the really important thing here is that I'm not taking damage in these combats. I want to either win or tie with people. That way when I go up in my tavern tiers, I get Everbloom here, which is getting me 2 gold when I upgrade, which is great. But yeah, basically you want to make sure that you're not taking damage as you run up these tavern tiers. You're probably going to be taking some damage because you'll be weaker. You're not going to be getting tier 3, tier 4 minions while everybody else is. So anytime you're trying to rush up the tavern tiers, like I'm doing here, you want to have a good strong board, strong enough that you're at least matching things. I did something kind of weird here, went away from my Undead to try and get a little small elemental thing going on, just to try and keep some tempo. So once again, try and, you know, stay alive and take as little damage as possible during this time. So Yellow Elemental is going to get a good hit in with that taunt there. Going to pop a shield Elemental, which is great. My taunt didn't really do too much there. That Reborn took out another shield, which is great. And since that Reborn still has his attack, he's able to take out that one. So once again, tying combat, which is really good.
Perhaps a change is in.
Picking Kel'Thuzad's Kitty was actually a really easy choice here. It looked like we were probably at the point where someone was going to die. So I got to my tier 5, picked up my triple here. I'm going to go ahead and play that and see what my first discovery is going to be. Didn't really get anything great, so I'm going to pick the Seafood Slinger, just so I can get another 6 option really soon. Check out my second discovery, 6. And we got Sister Death Whisper. Sister Death Whisper is going to work great because I already have 3 Reborns on the field. So it's just going to start building up really, really good strong minions on my board. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle those to the front because we want those to pass the stats on to the later Undead. And then we'll start to get rid of these elementals as well pretty soon here. Alright, so we won this battle, which is great. This is what we want to start seeing. Stacking all this stats thanks to the Death Whisper.
Checkmate.
And we get our first knight here. If you don't know these knights, they're 4/1 minions. But every single time one of them dies, every single other one that you have, no matter if it was spawned in combat, if you find it in the shop, or if it comes from another minion, they always get buffed. So I'm going to go ahead and check out my next 6th drop here.
Just what you needed.
And didn't really find anything great. I'm going to pick the Uther because I can just give stats to something, which is okay.
To the twisting nether with
Pick up another triple, which is awesome. I lose having 2 of my Reborns for Death Whisper, but I pick up a second Death Whisper. So that's going to help both my Death Whispers go ahead and grow now. Get the 9 on the field as well. Get rid of those elementals, like I said. Put my stats to that taunt here. And find another Reborn.
Your strategy is working. Keep it up.
Alright, next shop.
Welcome back.
So first of all, we get the Splitter. Splitter is great because it has Reborn itself, but it also gives a Reborn to another Undead minion. So that's a no-brainer pick for sure. I possibly should have picked out the Straight Shooter. She removes Reborn and Taunt from a minion that she attacks, but I went ahead and skipped for now. Possessive Banshee is good. It gives stats to a minion, and it's not bad. 2-7 is a decent amount of stats. I find another one, so I figure why not pick up the pair.
First spot belongs to you.
Okay, at this point we go into the next shop, I pick up the map, but I also find the triple. Hungering Abomination is an amazing card, I definitely recommend using it. I get rid of a knight, even though knights are self-buffing, just because I probably need the space, and I can probably get rid of the mummy as well. So I get rid of my 2 spots, that lets me play both of my buffs before I did the triple. I give it to a Death Whisper to help keep them around, that way the Reborns can trigger. But then with my triple, I'm going to go ahead and give it to my Taunt, just because more stats. Alright, with my triple, nothing. I pick up Zap just because sometimes it can be helpful with getting rid of the new Baron, which is Titus, I believe. Alright, pick up Anub'arak, which is an amazing card. Scarlet Skull is another really good Reborn right now, so that just helps with both my Death Whispers. I get the Abomination on the board because it needs to start getting its stats. And there we go. Now I want to look at this because this is close to a mirror matchup, right? Both of their Reborn Divine Shields have Taunt. They have an Anub'arak, but Anub'arak's not really being supported by anything. Blanchie there isn't actually getting buffed much by itself, so it's just kind of weak stats on the board. I mean, the Divine Shields are pretty decent, but because I have more health with 2 of my Death Whispers and plenty of my Reborns, overall, I'm going to do okay against this. I think that they did a good job with the Reborn right there with the poison, but as you'll see, I still take care of it pretty handily. And the Reborn doesn't get the poison, so that is one thing to note with those. It's just come back with a little bit of stats, but I think if the Anub'arak was being supported better and the Blanchie wasn't on the board, they would have had a better shot, but unfortunately all of my my high tier minions survived, and so I was able to perfectly lethal that one. Overall, this isn't a very eventful buy turn. I do pick up See the Light, pick up something that's more affordable, grab myself another Reborn just in case. I use the hero power to pick up that Leroy there. A 2-2 is just fine for Leroy. You're hopefully just waiting for it to pass. And then I go ahead and replace that Reborn. I almost put the Anub'arak up, but really, because I have 2 Death Whispers, it just made more sense stat-wise to have another Reborn on the board, especially if it's not the last turn. So we go into this combat. He does have a Leroy, which is not bad, to be honest. It is nicer for more things to die to my taunts before they reborn, but for Leroy to trigger that with both my Death Whispers is actually not a bad thing overall. So that Blanchie, as you saw, was a little bit stronger, but still didn't get past my 2 taunt minions. And trying to do a dent into his beasts. Unfortunately, his Savannah was a little bit too strong to proc before he took out both those models. So he didn't get to get any buffs on those 2 hyenas there. Got another Savannah, which is fine, but at this point, you can kind of see my stats are going to be able to take care of anything else going on here. Alright, so I do a little bit of damage, you know, he's still alive and still kicking, but we're doing okay. So I see another knight on the board. I'm going to pick up the map.
Exactly what you
Gonna get up to
needed.
tier 6, find a summoner, which is gonna be able to summon more knights. And at this point, I'm kind of looking like, okay, my Death Whispers have done quite a bit and gave me quite a bit of stats, so it might be okay to get rid of some of these reborns.
It's not
Pick up that knight just in
new
case.
recruits
And
have
here's another one.
arrived. How
So I'm gonna get
delightful.
summoner on the board so I can start getting those knights going. As you can see, I've only had like one die because that one's only 5-2 in the shop. So it's kind of risky to, so late in the game, pick up summoners and knights when a lot of times people have been working on that the whole time. Alright, now this is the person, like I said, this Anub'arak has definitely been working and has support. So we have one that's reborn, we have one that's trickled. Trickled was also reborn, but he does have the new Titus on the board, so he gets his death battles an additional time. So the only issue that he has here is that I have a little bit better reborn, and my health from those 2 Death Whispers, especially my last 3 minions there, are just a little bit higher. So, alright, we see we see our summoner pass. We have our first 2 knights in the field. They're gonna go ahead and die. And the good thing about Summoner 2 is that's 3 buffs for my Abomination at the end of the field there. So as you can see, he's got a few more minions going. Divine Shield is just going to barely get me.
Welcome back,
And I think this is kind of where the match went into my favor. So I pick up that extra knight. I get rid of the one of my Undead Reborn taunts. I get the extra summoner on the board so I can continue to get those buffs. I know that it's probably going to die even to this ghost, so that's a good thing. It's going to give them all a buff later on, and we really need that right now.
First spot belongs
Combat's
to
over,
you.
or combat starts, I should say. And sure enough, he was working on Murlocs. They don't have any kind of reborn, so once they're gone, they're gone. I got this first 2 pretty easily. Third one with my my top there. Summoner's not going to die, but that's okay. Alright, at least I played the first one in that first slot. That was a good move overall.
Checkmate. That
Alright,
round
so because I used the
belongs
kitty,
to
I get to
you.
choose from the Putricide who passed. I go for the Soul Splitter because it's gonna give Reborn to one of my other minions, and that's gonna be really handy. I'm kind of done with this other taunt here, so I do choose to Devour it and give stats to another minion. It goes on to the Knight, which isn't the best minion to get it, but I also see I can triple. So I go for the triple once again. Having 2 of those die might be okay, but now I want stats. So I'm gonna go for the stats here. Find another summoner, and now the game is mine. Using that just for a few extra stats here and there. I had the gold, so why not? You know, Reborn's not awful right now, but we don't really need it. Poor Anub'arak didn't get as much show on this as he would have. I definitely have played him in other games where he was an ace, an absolute star. And this is pretty much as good as we can do for right now. So let's go ahead and get into it. Can we win? Yes, we can. We did a better job with placing Savannah better. His mama was alive, but not for long. So my first summoner dies, spawning the extra knights. Next summoner also, but the Reborn doesn't go off because there wasn't enough space on the board. That's a-okay. He does get a Baron, or sorry, he does get a Leroy, but it just takes out my normal knights, unfortunately for him. His own bomb took out quite a few of his, took out quite a few of his own health. His knights are really beefy, so his couriers were definitely spawning summoners. I'm gonna go through here. That Titus at the end of the board there really making me nervous because of that one hit to my Abomination and the wrong sequence of the rats, and I could have definitely lost this. But unfortunately, things did not go in his favor. My 6 tier and my 5 minion give me a perfect 11 hit for a perfect lethal to win the game. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to see more of this, let me know. I do have some other games, and this was my game 7 in a row where I won. It was 7 out of 7 games. I hadn't lost any until this. The very next game was when it did it. So, yeah, I appreciate it. It's my first time doing the voiceover with an edited game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, like, subscribe, do all those YouTube things. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you later.